And I have to do it again. Sun, no sun. Sun, no sun. Katie, if only we knew somebody that could supply us with a high quality shade to put like here. Because this time of day, this is pretty intense. But here, oh my goodness, much better, much better. Wait a minute. I do know someone. Welcome back to Bunch of Blinds, ladies and gentlemen, on this fabulous Friday evening at almost 5:30. I'm Joey. Behind the camera is Katie, as always. And today we're going to be talking about something that a lot of customers will ask us about kind of later on, even though maybe we talked about it initially. We're all forgetful. We all have a lot of stuff going on. And we don't remember how we're supposed to take care of our shades and our blinds. Now, it's actually really easy to do with basically all of our products, and not all shades and blinds are going to be made the same way. Not all of them can take the same type of cleaning, but everything that we put into a house is going to be typically pretty strong. I mean, we have some more fragile window treatments, but stuff like this right here, a roller shade. This is a polyester polyester material, sorry. And something like this looks like, oh, I can't really clean that with like anything wet or, you know, too abrasive. And some of that's true, but we're going to talk about each of these in depth today, along with why it's important for you to see samples in your home. So stick around. All right, let's cut to a commercial break.
Yep.
Oh, well, let's get to it. All right, so let's first start, and we have props today too. Let's first start with our shutters. Shutters and a real wood blind. They're going to be taken care of basically the same way, where it's going to be dusting. We're just going to come over here, dust these guys off, and boom, they're ready to go. They're done. Shutters are really easy to take care of. If these here composite shutters were to get wet, it's not as big of a deal as with wood, although we don't really want to make a habit of getting our shutters wet all the time unless they are waterproof shutters, which we do have. But just on the day-to-day, all we have to do really is dust those and they're set. Now, unfortunately, blinds, shutters, anywhere that we have a flat surface, it's going to be a dust collector. So we will want to make sure we're dusting those regularly so that they're not getting a buildup of dust on them. Next, we have roller shades here. Now, we have a couple different types of roller shades. These both are solar roller shades. These have a vinyl coating over a polyester core, and then these are an actual polyester material here. While it looks like we wouldn't be able to really do a whole lot to clean these other than just kind of wiping them off, these actually can get a little bit wet. So we can take a damp rag, as I'll illustrate over here, and if we need to, if we have like a really dirty area, we could take a little bit of Dawn dish soap and mix it in. And I don't think the camera's going to be able to get it, but I do have a little smudge on here. I'm not sure how well it's actually going to show up. You can kind of see it? Okay. So we may not get all this out right now because I don't want you guys to have to sit here and watch me clean this. But I'm going to take just a little bit of Dawn dish soap and a paper towel here. I'm just going to get that a little bit wet there and then dry it. Now, obviously, yes, we can see where it's wet, but that's going to dry. And just kind of rub that in there. Now, I have no idea what this mark is, but as you can see, it is coming out. And the more that I sit there and scrub it, that will completely come out. By the time that's dry, you probably won't see that anymore at all. But again, I'm not going to sit here and scrub that and then wait to see it dry. But just know you can get that a little bit damp, and it's going to be okay. It is a resilient material. So then, same thing with our blinds over here. We have some real wood blinds right here. We're just going to want to run a duster across those. We have some that have like the actual wand thing that I could have used, but these are what Katie told me to use. So we have that right there. Now, this is a faux wood. A faux wood blind, yeah, typically we're just going to be dusting it, but the slats can get wet. I mean, it's a composite material, so it's not something like a real wood where we're going to be worried about humidity, and if it gets wet, it's going to mess it up, all this other stuff. So composite can take more of a beating, and it can get a little bit damp when we need to wipe them off, and they'll be perfectly fine. a woven wood, as well as our Roman shades. If there are other Roman shades, you just do a light dusting off of them. It's not going to typically have a whole lot that they're going to catch unless you like spill spaghetti sauce on it, in which case just a very lightly damp rag you can take to it and wipe them off. We don't want to get these really wet. This is an all-natural material. Same thing with our fabrics over here on the Roman shades. We can just do a light dusting, but this is a fabric material, so just like any fabric, we're going to want to be very careful with how we take care of these, especially when we have a nice pattern on here like this. Same thing with anything else that we see, at least in the upper section over here, where we have some of these shears and all. We can do a damp rag, but we don't want to do any heavy scrubbing. Nothing that is going to have like a real grit to it, and that's going to be the same case with everything. We don't want to have a harsh scrubbing pad. We don't want to use something like a magic eraser or anything like that. We just want to take a nice damp cloth and etch out whatever gets on there. Sometimes we can get little specks. Sometimes a little gnat can find his way on there, and without you seeing it, you roll it up and then it gets crushed in. Well, a damp rag is going to take care of that. Same thing with these guys down here. This is a fabric vein, so we're going to want to be careful on a vertical with a fabric vein. It's a little bit different whenever it's a PVC vein, and you can basically do anything to those because it's not fabric, and you can wipe those off really easily. One side note, when you first get a vinyl style vertical blind in your house, there's going to be a lot of static charge that they have, and they're going to want to stick to each other. You can actually take a damp washcloth, one in each hand, and rub it on both sides of the vein, and that's going to discharge that static electricity and separate your veins. So that tip was for free. All right, so last one that I'm going to talk about today as far as keeping it clean are our honeycomb shades. So you'd never know it, but there is a significant difference between this guy right here and this one here. I should have already had this one partly down. There we go. So they both look pretty much the same, right? I mean, obviously different colors, but you would never know that there's a difference in the material itself. But when it comes to cleaning, it's a significant difference. This is made through a process, or it's made through a material and a process in that material, don't worry about it, called point bond. This is spun lace, okay? I don't expect any of you to remember this unless you are specifically looking for a material like this, and we tell you that it is a spun lace material. But spun lace can actually get wet. I can take this, if I can get it to stay open, I can take this material here, I can take water, and I can rub it all over here, and it's going to be okay. I can dry it off. Spun lace, it can get wet. I can actually take this entire shade here, dunk it in the bathtub, and the material is going to be okay on a true spun lace shade. Now, obviously, all this other stuff in here, I don't want to do that regularly, but if I had needed to, I could. I can get this wet. If you ask me the best way to do it while it's up, I can take a damp rag, run it right across if I get some spaghetti sauce on there or something like that, and it's going to be okay. Point bond? No, I cannot do that. The best way to clean a point bond honeycomb shade, which is going to be most of your honeycomb shades that are out there, is with the upholstery. I know this isn't an upholstery connection, but it's the closest thing that I had in the closet. But you can take the upholstery connection on your vacuum and just run it right across that material, and that's going to be the safest way to take care of that. Honestly, with your fabric Roman shades, with your woven woods, you can do that same thing. That's going to be the best way to take care of them regularly. Okay, we don't want to do too much to those because obviously over time that could hurt them. But just know there is a material out there in honeycomb that you can actually get soaked and it will be okay. I'm not recommending that. That's your little disclaimer, but I'm just saying there's a significant difference between those two materials, and you clean them in different ways. Now, you can also take the upholstery connection on your vacuum and go across a spun lace shade, and that will be perfectly fine as well. That being said, I've actually tested this shade under a lot of water and black coffee, and currently you cannot see any of that black coffee or water anywhere on there other than the shadowing from the board that's in the window because our door is still broken. So this brings me to a very important point, which is that when we come out to your house, we bring all of our samples with us. We have colors, we have different window treatment types, everything. It is of vital importance that you see these in your house. In fact, today I was at somebody's house and they thought that they wanted to have a fabric Roman shade, and we actually instead got a roller shade, and she told me at the end, I'm so glad that I saw these in the house, because if I had just ordered these online or I called someone up and ordered them, I would have gotten something that I would have hated because I didn't realize the stacking. I didn't realize how much light was going to be taken out by a Roman shade, or that it mattered what color I chose, and that the motorization would be different with each shade, and it affects the blah, 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 blah. Went on and on. But she made an excellent point that I don't know what I'm getting because I don't do this every day, and I would have chosen something that I saw in a picture that I really liked, and it would not have worked for my house. So it's of vital importance that you have somebody that can come out to your house like us, and we bring all of the samples. We take a look at the colors actually in the room at the window, and it is of equal importance that we have all of the decision makers there as well, because we spend all day, 5 days a week, many, many hours a day talking about window treatments. We don't expect to come into your house, talk to you for an hour, and now suddenly you have all of the knowledge that you need to be able to tell your significant other, whoever the other person is that's making a decision, all the information we told you. Why? Because we do this all day, every day. So it's extremely important that all decision makers are there so that they can ask questions, or that they can say, no, I don't like this, or so that they can just simply understand what it is we're talking about when we say something like, yeah, it's a lot harder to see through a white solar shade versus a black solar shade. We talked about this in a lot of videos, but here you go. That's your reason right there. So when we come out for that free consultation, make the most of it. All right, that is up to you, is to put us to the test. Make sure you get the treatment that you want, the window treatment that you want. We're already going to treat you the way that you want, but make sure you get the window treatment that you want. Make sure all decision makers are there so that they can say, yeah, I like this, or I don't like this, or I like this color, I don't like that color, and to ask all the questions that you need to be asked, and to learn things like how to take care of these shades. By the way, folks, take a look right here. This is where our mark was, and it's gone, isn't it? Magic. Anyways, thank you guys so much. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I'm certainly looking forward to mine. I'm Joey. Behind the camera is Katie, as always. We are right across the street from Mike's Seafood and Rose Auto, in the same building as Subway and Monty Alban. So come on down, have a great bite. Well, don't come tonight because we're closed, actually. But come on down, enjoy a great bite, and have some fun with some great pals, friends. I lost it there at the end. I'm sorry. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.